The things that I have seen in this so far is that they've done a very good job on the expansion, which is not what I expected. I expected this expansion to suck. I expected it to be boring like I'd seen in other expansions, but they actually did a really good job. I've waited to talk about this because I wanted to experience all of the content, and I've actually done all of the quests in the game that are available. The only one that I have not finished in all of them is Memories of the Sky questline, which is not available until Tuesday, so it'll be available tomorrow, and then I can actually do it. First thing that I'll look at is, if we look at these zones, you'll find these little chests and stuff all over the place. They took that from Legion. I remember at the end of Legion, we had that final zone, and there were just like random chests around the world, and there's always like little things to pick up and interact with and like find things. And yeah, I enjoyed those as well. I really liked those because it was cool to go and do that and see that. They also added in like a lot of the rare spawns, and the rare spawns spawn in specific conditions, or like you have to go and fish and fish, you know, and then throw it at a frog, and then the frog actually turns into a rare spawn. Like, there's a lot of little things like this that actually feel really good. Outside of that, the fantasy of the environments is insane. Like, this crystal up here in the sky is not only light source for the zone, but it's fully dynamic. Like, it changes to a shadow version and the whole zone changes. Like, the fantasy of the zones feels like what WoW wanted to be, but didn't have the technical prowess to be able to be in the previous versions. Like, it's finally there. They're finally able to put in the fantasy that they can dream up rather than what they could do. It's what they would have done had they had the ability. And like, they have it now. So like, that's cool as shit. It's really goddamn amazing looking. So all of these zones just look awesome. Like, they look really, really good. It's very high fantasy. It's exactly what I was hoping for. From there, the dungeons feel very imaginative. They're really well made. There's a couple of bugs that I've run into where like some of the dungeons have had serious problems, but that was before the patch the other day. So I've not had a single issue since then. They fixed a bunch of shit, which is good. So the early access had issues, but not anymore. The class fantasy is much, much better now. So like, we look at Loon's Chosen here. You don't have to choose between these. You get all of them. You just have to choose between the ones that you want to choose here. And I didn't go with some cookie cutter build. I actually went and tried a unique build here where I've turned Thrash into like a super high damage arcane ability. And then I made it so that my arcane abilities do more damage. And then I heal all of my arcane damage done. And like, it hits like a truck. It's actually like 100,000 damage AoE that trucks everything in the area, and then the dot on it is also arcane, which heals me. So like, there's weird builds that you can make now, which is just great. Also, you get flying the moment you enter the expansion. You don't have to like level it up or do any bullshit. You just get it, which is awesome. Outside of that, how many of you guys are solo players? They just want to play solo content. How many of you guys just want to play solo content in the game and you don't give a shit about groups or any of that stuff? They made it so you can run any of the dungeons as a follower dungeon, so you get NPCs. You don't have to deal with other players. You can even set the NPCs to be the leaders of the group, so they go forward and you just stay with them. So you don't have to be the leader of the group. You can make the NPC the leader. Outside of that, you can also do what are called delves. Delves are found out around the world. We'll click on one of them here. Skittering Breach is a delve. And you go into that with a follower, and that follower gains levels as reputation, and he can get up to, I think it's level 50 or some shit. No, it's 60. So Brand Bronzebeard is my follower, and he's level 11. I need to go and run those delves, and those delves do give really good gear. So like, they've done a very good job at trying to retain that solo play for the players who do want it, to make sure that you have a place in the game, which I didn't expect. But it's great, dude. Like, they've done a really, really good job with all of these systems. They've also brought back like a number of the things like, if you remember Super Bloom from Dragonflight, where when you're in the Emerald Dream, you can actually go do Super Bloom like every hour or whatever it was, and you go do that little event, and you run around, and you do that. They have those as well. So like, over here in the Isle of Dorn, they actually have a theater troupe that goes off like every hour, and that gives you rewards, so that's cool. I think the factions are good, the reputations are good. Also, every one of the factions itself actually has like a bunch of rewards for it. So like, as you level it up, it gives you stuff, and there's reasons to do that. It's kind of like a battle pass, but just part of every faction. So every reputation is like just a bunch of rewards that you can get, and it's neat. They've added just a lot of shit that like, hey, do you want to play WoW? Go play WoW for a bit. You could just do things all day, including the races. Like the Dragonflight races, they brought these back. So like, you can just go do cool Dragonflight races, and like, it's great. And these were fun. I actually really liked these in Dragonflight. This is probably some of the only content that I really enjoyed in Dragonflight. Unfortunately, I didn't really get into that expansion. It kind of lost me because it didn't enjoy the zones, and like, the Emerald Dream just was very small. And I really like the Emerald Dream because I play Druid, right? But like, this is great. I'm really impressed. I completely anticipated getting into this expansion, not being impressed by it, and then just quitting and being like, well, yeah, it's another WoW expansion I just don't give a shit about. And like, nope, I'm in. Yeah, they got me because it's fun. It's like really, really fun. And I cannot wait to see more of this. Also, the music. Holy shit, is the music good this time? It's wild. They've done such a good job with the audio this time. It's crazy. Like, this music is great, dude. So every one of the environments kind of has just these really nice tunes. Yeah, all of the music is just very nice. Outside of this, honestly, it's just the fantasy of the expansion, dude. They finally brought back a game that, like, feels larger than life. And WoW hasn't felt like that in a while. Now, understand something. Before we get fully taken by the World of Warcraft veneer of goodness, right? Before we get taken by that, it might still suck. And the reason why I say that is you're at the beginning of an expansion. It's real good right now, but they have to keep following it up. And I don't know if they will. However, this is good enough that I'm going to give them the chance. And that's how I feel about this, right? I'm going to give them the chance. We'll see if they keep following it up. Just keep seeing if it's good. What's the negative? I haven't seen a negative yet. The expansion is a very good spot, and I want to support that. I think it's doing really well, but they need to keep following it up. And I need to see if the raid is going to be good. Am I going to raid? Yeah, I'm going to do mythic raids. I'm going to be doing mythic raids. I'm going to be doing mythic plus. I'm going to be doing rated battlegrounds as well. No, it's not even honeymoon phase. Legitimately, like I got into Dragonflight and immediately bounced off of it. I was like, it doesn't feel good. The only thing of Dragonflight that I actually liked is there was a quest where a dwarf was sitting like on a cliffside thing, like on the building, and he like talked about how WoW used to be, and I was like, man, that's great. Actually, this quest is amazing, and the rest of the expansion doesn't feel like that. Shit, right? It just felt real bad. It felt real bad, and then this expansion feels like what he was talking about. I was like, okay, this doesn't suck. This is actually really goddamn good. Do you have to do Dragonflight stuff before going to the new expansion? Nope. They actually put in little icon things. We're right near one of these. This will actually level up your dragon flying. It's called like skywriting now or some shit. Also, they made it so that you can switch between your flight styles once you see the entire map, but they give you skywriting flying immediately. Like immediately, they give that to you. So you can just like do your normal flying once you see the whole map, which is cool. There's one more thing to talk about actually. Professions. They really did a good job with professions. So if we go back into here and we look at like alchemy, right? And we look into this, they did all the specializations again. So there's a ton of specializations and there's tons of different like mastery to go find in the world, in the open world. And they have a whole bunch of new nodes and all kinds of shit to do this with. This has been really fun to mess with. And the new plants that they have are crazy. So like one of them is crystallized. When you empower it, it like creates a portal to another nearby like thing. There's altered where it like curses you with some weird thing. I don't know much about this one. I haven't seen it very many times. Spore fused where it creates duplicates of itself and is obnoxious and makes you hallucinate. And then irradiated, which explodes and does damage to everything nearby, which is kind of cool. They put so much profession treasures in the game. Dude, it's crazy. Like the amount of stuff in professions is nuts. They have all new gear for them and everything too. Like even cooking has gear. So like they've continued that trend and made it really interesting. And I think it's great. I think it's really good, man. You can also condense food now into like a hearty version of the food to make like a good version of it, which is neat. One of the last things I actually didn't bring up is this. All of your reputations are account bound now. They added this thing called the Warband. And there's tons of items that when you get them, they'll actually say warbound until equipped, like this one. So I can trade this to any of my alts, but I can't trade it to other players. So this goes to any alt that I have. It is warbound until I equip it on a character. And all of my reputations are also warbound to my warband. That's account bound for all of it. And the cool thing is we can do this at any time. We can open this up and I can just take this item and put it in here, and now any of my characters can interact with it because it's a warbound item. And this bank is accessible from all of my characters. It's wildly awesome. I don't know if the new reputation, the old reputations, I don't think are warbound. I think it is only the new ones. They did it for all of Dragonflight, so all those are warband now, and all of the new ones from the War Within are like that. War Within is having some problems displaying reputations, so like you'll see I only have 2 here, but it actually is 4 of them if we go and open this up. So it's broken. There's problems with the UI. It's definitely got a bug. But that's such a goddamn good thing, dude. They've made it so alt accessible, it's insane. And I have never seen them do that before, so it's pretty good shit. It's really good shit, actually. But yeah, overall, I'm having a blast. Game's good. I'm very impressed with it. I think that Blizzard's doing the right stuff. Doesn't mean they'll keep up with it, but to be honest with you, they're doing it right now, so I'm gonna play it right now.